Well, here we are once again, the Chatterbox, talking to you over the facilities of the Gallipolis. I'm from Gallipolis, and I still remember Gallipolis more than I do Tryon. I'm in Tryon, North Carolina now, talking on behalf of the Tryon Daily Bulletin, world's smallest daily newspaper. And now that we have that out of the way, I've been talking to a gentleman here in his workshop on right in the heart of Tryon, and he's a blacksmith. And the minute I heard about Bill Crowell, I thought, my grandfather was a Kentucky blacksmith, and I've got to meet that man. Finally got him away from his forge long enough to let us learn just a little bit about what he does, why he's here, why he's staying here, and we'll just have a nice chat. We've already had about an hour's worth of talk, and I want you to be in on this too, because he has a most unusual shop. I've never seen such beautiful wrought iron work in my life, and I even see a bottle tree, and outside the window here I see a banana tree. Mr. Crowell, my father's name was Bill. May I call you Bill?
Sure. Okay. That'd be fine.
Good. Okay, we're informal here in Tryon.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. First of all, one of the first things I ask anyone is, are you a native Carolinian, or are you a native from this area?
Yeah, I'm a native Carolinian, born in Spartanburg, South Carolina, raised in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, right outside Charleston, and then moved to Charlotte for my high school senior years.
Okay, so you're a native son. I've met so many people here. One of the reasons I started doing these little chit-chats with people, we have people from all over the world who have settled here, and so you maybe noticed the same thing. And I'm thinking, we've got to tell people what we have here in this little 2,000 population town. I guess it's still 2,000, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. About 1,900. Mm-hmm.
Well, we have room for more. We have places that someone wants to put a business in. We have some really neat, steady, sturdy buildings here that could use some renters in it too. But it's one of the busiest places I've ever lived, Bill. And being a native here, maybe I see things that you haven't seen from my point of view as to why would someone want to come here and settle to retire or start a business?
Well, it's a beautiful part of the Carolinas. We have low crime, low cost of living, low taxes, high, value of morals and volunteers. We have a fine arts center, and I always make jokes and call it a little mini metropolitan city, and that's what Tryon is.
I call it a mini Cincinnati. I lived there for 17 years, and I said we have everything they had, except we don't have to worry about a place to park, and we don't have to worry about all the crowds and standing in line.
And the river flooding.
Yes, the river did overflow. All we have here is water coming the other way from down over the mountains.
Yeah. But Tryon is just a fabulous place to be. I just moved here 35 years ago, and I've had decent job offers that would take me away, and I just decided to stay right here and do my blacksmithing. And my blacksmithing is a midlife crisis. I started when I was 40. I was
going to say, what you were in, I think, with the textile business before forging.
Yeah, I did. It was textiles what brought me to Tryon, and then I worked for the Nissan selling forklifts for 10 years, and then I got into blacksmithing as a hobby, and it's what I do for a living now.
Well, why this?
Well, my wife does ceramic tiles.
Oh, those are some of her works over there. Oh, they're gorgeous.
And I started making tables for her tiles.
Well, that sounds like a slogan. We make tables for your tiles.
We make tables for your tiles, or we make tiles for your tables.
Okay. Well, you've got the best of both worlds. Well, now she has a shop.
She does. It's Kathleen's, and it's up in Saluda. Okay. It's got probably 60 local and regional artists and crafters in there.
This place is just, I shouldn't use the word overrun, but it is not completely. It has a lot of artists in all media, including yourself. This is a type of art, don't you think?
It is, yeah. Ironwork is art. A lot of your best sculptures in the world are iron and steel. But yeah, we've over the I guess the last 20 years, I've seen a huge influx of artists and crafters who've come into this area and set up shop and work and live.
Well, we have arts and crafts of all kinds. I mean, I don't think there's a media that isn't represented. I see. I think recently in the Daily Tribune, Daily Bulletin. I'm having a terrible time with this. The newspaper's going to have to change its name for me. But anyway, in the Daily, the Tryon Bulletin. Oh, Betty Ramsey, the publisher, is going to she's going to shoot me dead on the side when she hears this. But anyway, everyone knows what I mean because we're the smallest daily newspaper in the world.
That's right.
She said the other day, I was talking to her, she said that they'd had a request for a copy of their paper in the Netherlands.
Oh yeah, I know people that moved to Germany on business, and they kept the paper coming. Sometimes it would show up 3 weeks old, but they got their paper.
Yeah. But anyway, I was talking. I digress from you about getting into. Did you have to learn this from another? You're a blacksmith.
Yeah,
Is that
I am. I'm a blacksmith. I'm pretty much self-taught. I did take some classes at Penland Craft School up above Asheville. That gave me the basics, and then with that, I just took off. And since I had to make a living, I had to learn it fast. And
well, do you do anything in the way of since we have more horses and people here? Do what do you call it? Farrier work?
I'm a blacksmith. All farriers are blacksmiths, but not all blacksmiths are farriers.
Okay.
I don't do horses.
You don't do horses?
I don't do horses.
Well, there are people that just specialize in that wouldn't know what to do with the kind of work that you're doing.
Right, yeah. The farrier is more of a, I would say like a medical specialty.
He's like an orthopedic surgeon.
It's like, he's orthopedic for the horse.
Yeah.
And that's an art and a learned talent, or a schooled talent in a way.
Yeah,
Farrier school takes 6-8 months.
But are there any schools beyond the higher level of education, special trade schools? But is anything of this sort ever taught in a high school level?
They did have supposedly they were going to open up a little blacksmith shop in the high school at Polk High.
They have everything else.
Yeah. Now, Tryon Arts and Crafts down at Harmon Field, they have a 5-workstation blacksmith teaching station down there.
Do you ever teach that?
I've done some basic classes down there.
Okay. This is specialized. Most of your work is by special order?
Yeah, custom work, everything from handrail to a dining room table to stools to mainly what people want. I do keep a little bit of inventory, but not a lot.
Not a lot. So, we're in a small town, a small county. Our county is probably a little under 30,000, as I understand it.
Mm-hmm. It's actually
like
20.
Oh, 20,000?
20,000.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, but we have room to grow, and if anyone wants to bring a business here, we got plenty of room to grow and lots of customers, because you don't depend on local customers anymore with the type of communication we have. Do you have a website?
I do have a website, but actually 90% of my business is within 50 miles.
Oh, really? Okay. Do they get word of mouth? How do they know about you?
Through the bulletin is one of my advertising outlets, but yeah, word of mouth, the website.
Do you have brochures that you send out?
I have a few. No, I don't do any mass mailings, I'm a one-man shop, so there's really just so much time in a week to get things done.
But this keeps you busy.
Keeps me busy.
Yeah.
I do stay busy, and I pay my bills, so I'm a happy camper.
Well, not many people can say you're satisfied. You're a happy camper.
Oh, yeah, I love what I do, and, I've always made jokes that all money's good for is to keep bill collectors off your front porch, and art is the fun part, and making things is the fun part, and I just love doing what I do.
I think that's the most important thing that we should prepare our young people for, which I think our local schools. I've done some interviews and plan to do more with them. I learned right away that they have some of the finest educators here in Polk County. They rate very high, even nationally, and they're doing things for them that they can use in life after they leave high school. Not everyone has to go to college to have a good living and to be happy. But I think the main thing is to help them develop those talents while they're young enough to, sometimes you change your mind. I mean, you changed your course, but it was only a necessity when the mill closed, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I took a new direction. Well, I was having fun making tables for Kathleen Stiles, and then I wanted to figure out if I could make a living at it. And a friend of mine, Randy Grove, worked for the Broad River Decoy Company, and he called me up one day and said, "Bill, can you make 1,440 tables?" And
I beg your pardon, how many was that?
Gross, 1,440.
Well, when did you pick yourself up off the floor?
That. Well, being an old salesman, I went, "Hey, I can get it to you in a couple of months."
Well, now you had to have material. Where did you get that?
Well, I deal with a company out of Gastonia, North Carolina, steel distributor. But yeah, myself, Kate Larkin, who was a fine arts teacher here, and Patty Peak, who trained racehorses here. I hired both those ladies, and we actually built those tables in 3.5 months.
So you have had ladies do blacksmithing?
Oh, yeah. I'm a firm believer that if you have a two-man job, hire one lady.
Well, bless your heart. Have you got an opening for an old lady here? I would probably set the place on fire.
That's all right. In our trade, it's really no big deal if you do set yourself on fire.
Do you have the kind of forge where I remember just vaguely my grandfather being a blacksmith? I can vaguely remember that there was a big old thing with a pump thing on it.
Bellows. No, I use I use propane gas. It holds a steady heat. You can have more than one piece of fire in the iron.
And
one
is
piece
it safer?
of iron in the fire.
Safer? You have to be careful with any fire.
Yeah, but coal burns hotter. There's certain tasks that it's nice to have coal over gas. But down at Arts and Crafts, they have they use coal down there. But it's it's a little difference between the two as far as overall how hot it gets.
Have you got a big project lined up for now, or what's your project that you've got? I think something about a wine table or something.
Yeah, we're working on a wine table and then an old copper kettle wine rack for these people. But I guess the big project right now is all the handrail and fencing up at the Fine Arts Center's new amphitheater.
Oh, you're doing that?
Yeah.
Good. Well, that's the thing. I think that local artists are supported by local people. In other words, I think there's a lot of support. Of course, you couldn't depend on trying for just everything, I'm sure. But I think that's great, because if someone can do something local, why go out of the county to do it?
Well, that's true. The board of directors of the Fine Arts Center, they actually, when they raised the funds for this amphitheater, they said they were going to hire all local contractors. And they did.
Yes.
I mean,
I was surprised
we've had huge construction jobs go on in this county. Not one person from Polk County got a job out of it.
Well, but they say shop local.
Yeah, they do, but
but they don't.
But also, if you're within 50 miles, you can't be any good.
Okay.
I mean, there was a certain art center done years ago. They didn't hire local electricians or carpenters or plumbers or anybody. Everybody came from Charlotte.
Well, somehow people always think something from a big city is better, but I'm a small town girl, and I believe in small town helping one another, and usually the better talent is in the smaller towns. You mentioned Randy Grove out at the Duck and the Swan, or the
Frog and Swan. Frog and Swan.
Frog and Swan. He's a fixture. I'm hoping to get a talk with him too. He could do an Antiques Roadshow here, couldn't he? He could.
He's also an antique too.
That goes along with it. I'm an antique also.
Now, Randy's a pretty great guy, and he does a lot for this community on a regular basis.
Yeah. That's it. The people who are involved here, and you, I'm sure, are involved with things that you don't always get credit for, but the people here are willing to give of their talents, and that's what I say about some of these people who've retired here. It may not be anyone, a tradesman such as yourself, who has something he produces with his hands, but their minds, they use their mind. They're on boards, they contribute, and they don't retire from living.
Yeah, I am. I was bumped into a couple of gentlemen the other day, and they were buying 5-pound box of nails, and I looked at them and said, what in the world are you doing? Well, come to find out, they both started with, they're now working for Habitat. 2 days a week building houses. And they both came out of corporate America. One of them bought his first hammer in his entire life.
Well, didn't ex-President Carter, didn't he do a lot of the house building after he left the presidency?
Mm-hmm, yeah, Jimmy Carter was real big in Habitat for Humanity.
He grew more than peanuts.
That's right.
And I didn't mean that as a slam either, because I love peanuts, But, I'm looking around to see if there's anything I'm missing here, because there's so much to talk about. But I see golf. Are those golf cart things? What are those?
Those are baby strollers that belong to TDDA, Tryon Downtown Development Authority. And we use them for April Fool's Day for a race.
You use baby strollers or an April Fool's Day race.
Right. Yeah. You put a 50-pound bag of dog food in them, and then you run up the street and
give it to a dog.
Yeah, the food goes to the Humane Society. Where we're trying to get outreach ministry who does the food bank in town to have races on April 6th.
Well, they even have one where they have an outhouse race, I think.
Yeah, that's the April Fool's Festival.
Yeah, okay. But there's always something to do here. I mean, you could do every week there's something. We have live theater, we have music, we have art of all sorts, and of course we have the Saluda Forge. The Saluda Forge, did it start in Saluda? Is that why that name?
Yeah. I did. I started up in Saluda 20 years ago. Yep. 20 years ago, and I just needed more room. And
when did you come here? Down?
02.
Down the mountain.
Yeah, down Tryon in 02. I built this building across the street.
Well, you can't miss it when you come downtown at Tryon, because it's up on a hill overlooking the railroad tracks, and you have signs that direct you, and you're happy to show people around, and if they want to have something built, you're here to show them how you can do it, right?
Oh, definitely. We always love playing tourist information up here, and always love orders.
Good. Well, we always like to have a little business coming in so we can pay our bills, and I can think of a nicer place to come to have some ironwork done. This is just a view I've never had of Tryon. I have never been up here before, even though it's right across from the thrift shop where I spend a few hours every week at the St. Luke's thrift shop. And I get a little plug in for them too. But every money that we make goes to the hospital for equipment, and for now there's a big enlargement going on there. Now, when there's a construction work going on, I don't mean to get too involved here, we're almost out of time, but do you have a place when they're building something new, like a building or what? Is there something in that you could offer your services that they could use?
Oh, there's handrails, and a lot of times, somebody may donate the furniture going into the waiting room, and they want something unique and different. I've done a number of vanities and sideboards for colleges. And
what's the most unusual, and then I'll close off with it, the most unusual thing that you've ever had an order for? Is that
the most unusual thing? Uh-huh. Well,
we may have to come back on another. Give
yeah,
him time to think.
Have
to think about that.
I mean, there was the IBM's computer chip, but it was 2 feet by 2 foot and weighed about 25 pounds.
Now, wait a minute, a computer chip that weighed what?
25 pounds. It was made in 1955, I think, 54.
And you made?
I made a table to go, glass top table for this thing to fit inside of. That was pretty unique.
Yeah. Well, you may get a special order for something. We hope someone hears this and decides, hey, maybe this guy could make this funny thing that I want made out of an old baby carriage or whatever metal. They don't make a lot of things like that are not made out of metal anymore, are they? Like baby carriages.
It's amazing that plastic has taken over.
Yeah, well, there'll always be a place though for metal, because nothing holds up like good old metal does. And I don't know of an artist that could do more with the metal than I've seen today here with Bill Crowell. And Saluda Forge, it's located here in the heart of downtown Tryon. It's a dot on the map, but we're the crossroads of the world. And if you want to enjoy a nice weekend, and if you're looking for a place to settle, I don't know of a better place to come to than Polk County, North Carolina.
I agree, 100.
You're slightly prejudiced since you're a Carolinian, I know, but I can say I've lived a lot of places, but this place is fun. And it's nice to walk down the street and see smiles and the old codgers sitting down around the coffee shop, sitting outside solving all the problems of the world. I should take the microphone down there one day and get some of that conversation, which might have to be censored a little bit. But anyway, it's a great place, and we're having a lot of fun getting acquainted with Tryon and Saluda and Landrum, which is South Carolina, but it's part of our Chamber of Commerce, I understand. And Columbus, of course, is our county seat. And we hope you'll get acquainted with us. Come in and be sure to look up this beautiful Saluda Forge right in the heart of downtown Tryon. Until then, we'll say we don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. And so come and see us, and we hope you have a nice day.